Hello and welcome. And in this video, I'm talking about how to sell 3 times more 5 to 25K coaching offers using this 3-part method. Now, if you're a coach right now and you're looking to sell more, one of the obvious things is obviously get better at sales or improve your offer, create an irresistible offer. And this is something that I've spoken about extensively and exclusively and vastly around a method I use called the no-brainer irresistible offer method, NBI offer method. Now, the cool thing in this is when you're creating an irresistible offer, you're usually going to create something irresistible because it's for a specific niche. And you're creating it in such a way that it comes across powerful, so you understand how to write the right types of benefits and construct them, put them together, which means benefits that include functional benefits, dimensionalized benefits, and emotional benefits all layered together. But when it comes to actually constructing the offer and then selling it, a lot of people can get lost and overwhelm the prospect. And they overwhelm the prospect because either they've put too much into the offer and they're trying too hard to deliver, or they're talking too much when it comes to the sales part. And even before that step happens, when it comes to their marketing, there's too much confusion in the message. Now, what I want to talk about is using a 3-step method that I've put together, and I'm going to be sharing with you. So I've got my iPad ready, make sure I've got my pen ready as well. I just want to take you through this very simple method on how you can sell 3 times more. And it's all about getting rid of confusion. And there's this quote, and I don't know if it's attributed to Einstein, but I've heard it referenced to him many times, is that if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough, right? And when it comes to selling offers and selling your offer, the key is to be able to break down exactly what's going on with your niche so that they understand what you're talking about in record time, in quick time, right? So I'm going to give you the 3 steps method in a moment, but I'm going to share with you where this 3-part method comes from. The rule of 3 is a writing principle, and suggesting that the trio of entities such as events or characters is more humorous or satisfying or effective than other numbers. And you see in so many different situations. And the key is the form of the text using this 3-step method is that it's more likely for the audience to remember information, recollection, right? So when you use the rule of 3, sometimes called the power of 3, it's about easy recollection. And by having 3 key steps, it combines brevity, rhythm, and with a small amount of information to create a pattern. And there's a lot of rhythm in the way that I produce my content. I actually have a method called the 6-week content rhythm. And a lot of people, coaches in particular, and course creators, they don't understand that when it comes to your content, you do have to have a rhythm. Some people say, I've got to be in the flow to create content. But by having rhythm in what you put out and using this 3-step method that I'm going to take you through, the rule of 3, it will help you to not only construct content, create better offers, and also sell better because you start to simplify things down. Now, before I get into the 3-part method, I just want to give you some examples of why the rule of 3 is so powerful and can be used in so many different things. It appears in religious concepts. So if you think of the rule of 3, you've got the Holy Trinity. If you're aware of Christianity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Then you've got things like literature or folklore, 3 little pigs and the wolf tries to blow down each of their houses. You've got Goldilocks and the 3 bears, and they all have 3 different bowls, 3 chairs, 3 beds, so on and so forth. And then you've got different things, power of 3, going back to more ancient times. Let's say ancient, 2,000 years ago. You've got Veni, Vidi, Vici, Julius Caesar's famous Latin phrase, which is, I came, I saw, I conquered. And when you start looking at this, the rule of 3 is such a powerful concept, and it keeps on playing throughout life, throughout society, and throughout history. You've got advertising slogans like Nike, just do it, or McDonald's, I'm loving it, 3 parts. You've also got film and television. So if you've ever come across script writing, film stories, that kind of thing, you've got the 3-act structure, which is the setup, the confrontation, and the resolution. And then you've also got things like everyday phrases, ready, steady, go. Then you've also got science and learning. And traditionally, states of matter when it comes to substances, you usually have solid, liquid, and gas, and so on and so forth. And so the point that I want to get to is that if you think about your content and your offers using the rule of three, what you actually start to do is create something that is familiar to people, familiar to your niche. So if you are a coach, course creator, expert, and you're selling to your niche, if you've got an offer or if you've got content, it's already broken up into three things. And we see this so many different instances throughout the marketing industry. For example, you know, you've got the classic Russell Brunson webinar method where it's the three secrets, right? So by using these different types of, you know, broken down rules of three, you start to understand that if you start to structure offers and you start to structure marketing messages and so on, and the way that you sell into three key components, you start to actually make it easier for the person that you are communicating with to understand what it is that you're talking about, right? So as I said, I've got an example on screen, but I wanted to give you some kind of context so you understand where the rule of three comes from. And it's something that I use with my coaching clients, like when we put their offers together and they're following my method, the MBI offer method, they use one of the templates that I have, very simple Google document method, which can then be translated into funnels and web pages, but they break their offer down into three key areas. And that's what I'm going to share with you on the screen in a moment, which is why I've got the diagram ready on the right-hand side. So hopefully everybody's following that part so far. If you do have any questions around creating content, creating offers, and selling these offers, just please comment below this video and I'll come back to your comments individually. So let me break this down. If you think about your niche for a moment, think about the problem, the number one problem that you fix. And what I want you to do is think about that problem, right? And what are the top three frustrations? So make sure I'm not in front of the mic. The top three frustrations, right? Here we are. Just realize diagrams on the right. So think about the top three frustrations or fears, right? So what are the top three overriding frustrations or fears that your niche have right now? So I'm going to give you a quick example and I'm going to fill in this particular diagram and I'm going to talk you through what's going on here. So if you think about my niche is coaches, experts, course creators, that kind of thing. And the challenge that they have, I'm going to put in the middle, is right here. So it's scaling. So they want to scale, they want to effectively grow, right? So they want to grow their business. So the problem is they're not scaling. That's why I'm putting it in red. So if you think about, that's the number one problem. Coaches who are at the 10 to 30K level, they're stuck. They can't break out of the trap of that 10 to 30K level. So I'm just going to put in here 10K, 30K. Like that's the niche I'm speaking to in this particular example. And if I was thinking about the top three frustrations of that niche right now, so business, career, leadership, life coach, they're stuck at the 10 to 30K per month level, right? And they want to break out, they want to double their revenue in the next 6 to 12 months. So what I need to think about are, what are the top three frustrations or fears that they're experiencing? And again, this comes back to the rule of three. So if I think about the top three, so let me just fill this in. I'm going to go a bit bigger on the screen. Hopefully you can see a bit more. So what I'm going to do is just fill this in. So the first one is strategy. So they've got at the moment, if I can get this on here. So the strategy is it's not scaling. Let's just say that for the moment, right? So strategy, not scaling. The second frustration or fear would be they've got inconsistent lead flow. And when I say inconsistent, they've just not been able to crack getting out of that 10 to 30K level, right? So inconsistent leads. And then the third frustration, we're going to put it down here, is around their systems aren't designed or they're just not scaling, right? So non-scalable systems. I'm just going to put here systems. There we go. So now that we've got this filled in, and I'll just come back a bit bigger on screen just so we can see this. So when we're putting our offers together, we want to break down the problem into three key parts. And the reason for that is we're not trying to sell everything to our niche, right? And when we communicate our offer, it becomes super clear on what we can do in terms of solving the problem. And when you're looking at your niche, and I want you to take this on board, is that your niche is not looking to solve a million different things, right? And the simpler you keep it, and by using and adopting what I've shared with you earlier on the rule of three, we're going to make it easy for them to recall when they see our offer, when we talk about an offer, if we're in a sales position, maybe on a sales call, or they're reading, you know, the offer on a sales page or in a Google document, whatever it is, it makes it much easier. So now that we understand what the problems are, what we need to do is then move into solutions. So thinking about the problems that they're going through, if your niche, for example, have a non-scaling strategy, in this example that I'm using for me, well, what we're going to have is a totally opposite, which is scalable strategy, right? And then if the frustration is inconsistent leads, then what we've got here is constant leads. And then I'll explain in a moment what's going on here. And then the final one is if they don't have scalable systems, what we've got here is scalable systems. So now what we're doing is building out what are the solutions to these frustrations or fears. Right, we understand what the overall problem is, but what we're doing now is breaking this down into three. Now, the next thing that we want, which is going to help when it comes to putting your offers in front of people, we need to think of either 2 to 3 actions that's going to help our niche to understand what they've got to do. So what you're seeing right now are the solutions to the 3 frustrations in red in the 3-part circle in the middle. And now what we're going to do is apply 3 actions, 3 key things, 2 to 3 key things that you would have your niche do, and think about your own solutions, your own offer, what they would need to do in order to fix that problem. So here, for example, what I tend to do is focus on, I have a solution called Super Niche, where we get super focused on what the niche is. The next thing that I look at is MBI offers. Right, so this is what a coach would need to focus on if they were going to fix this problem of being stuck in the 10 to 30K level. And the cool thing about this is it makes it so easy because what we're doing is focusing on key actions by using this rule of 3. So with this example, constant leads, the 2 activities that I get my coaching clients to work on are weekly clients. Let's fill that in. And the next one is leads on tap. And then the final one at the bottom, we've got scalable systems. And scalable systems are lead magnets to sales. So leads to sales. And then the final one is appointment mastery. And now I'm going to break this down for you so that you can use this. So appointment, and I'm just going to go over mastery. Right. So what's going on here? Very simple. What we've done is we've taken that central circle where we've stated what the problem is that our niche are going through right now. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick a slightly different color. Let's make it a bit more transparent. So here in the middle, that's the core problem, right? Which is the problem of a coach who is not scaling right now. Then the next thing that I've done is taken their overall problem and I've broken that down into, I'm going to make this a bit more transparent, 3 key frustrations, which is what we have over here in the middle, right? So this next outer circle. And those frustrations are strategies not scaling, inconsistent leads, and then we've got non-scalable systems. So then what we need to do in constructing a more powerful offer is go to the next outer ring, which is then suggest the alternative, the total opposite of what the problem is, which is what we have in green. So we've got here scalable strategy, constant leads, scalable systems. So if you're doing this and you're a coach right now and you're at this 10 to 30K level, you start to break down the problem of what you fix for your niche in this particular way. The problem goes in the middle. The top 3 frustrations or fears can be a mix of both, or just frustrations or just fears. Those go on the outer circle and you break them into the top 3. And then you find the total opposites to those, which is what we've got in the green. And then for each of the green solutions that you're going to offer and put in your offers, you then have 2 to 3 key actions that you know that your niche must take in order for them to get the outcome of what you can help them to achieve, which is what we've got here on the outer circles. Super niche, MBI offers, weekly clients, leads on tap, we've got leads to sales, and then we've also got appointment mastery. So now we've ended up with this 3-part diagram that allows us to use the rule of 3. Now, here's the cool thing. Here's how you can apply it. When you're constructing your offers, you focus your offers around this rule of 3, meaning the top 3 frustrations along with the top 3 solutions, which is what we've got in green highlighted. Now, the cool thing about this is you make it easy for people to understand what it is that you do. So rather than having a complicated offer structure and putting complicated offers in front of people, what you're doing is starting to break it down into 3 key areas that they consume, right? And it's easier for them to consume using the rule of 3 than it is if you've got like tons of different benefits and tons of different things, and the person can't follow along with what the offer is actually explaining. So the whole point of this, kind of walkthrough that I've taken you through is for you to break down easily or more easily what your offer is. And so the next step with this is you can start to construct benefits for the key actions, the key activities that we put in the blue. And the cool thing about that is it makes it easy for your prospects to start to understand what it is that you provide. And then when you start to use this when it comes to selling, it's easy for you to sell because it's not like you're having to present like tons of different, moving parts, features, benefits, and so on. What you're doing is staying very focused to the core problem and what it is that you solve. And here's the really cool thing. Once you've nailed this part, obviously there are different aspects to creating, an offer that gets people to buy. And one of those is right at the very beginning. What is your promise? And I'll give you another tip. When you're creating your promise for your overall coaching programs, focus on a specific outcome and in a specific time frame. The more that you can offer specificity, even if you're a life coach, a spiritual coach, whatever type of coach you are, for instance, being able to achieve X in Y, as in the time, could be hours, days, weeks, or months. You're then giving your niche the thing that they need to understand in terms of when I make this investment, am I going to get the outcome that I'm seeking? So whenever you're using this type of method, also be very clear on what your promise is. Now, if you use this method, honestly, it can transform the way that you sell, the way you construct your offers, because you're focused on 3 core areas. Yes, you probably have other bonuses, premiums, and different things that you can offer. But what you're starting to do is make things much simpler. And as I said earlier, if you can explain things simply, it means that you understand it. If you find difficulty in explaining your approach to packaging, putting your offers together and how that is communicated to the right people, then you'll find it a challenge. Now, hopefully this has made a whole lot of sense to you. If it hasn't and you need a bit more of a deeper dive, then I've got a free training called the NBI offer training that I can give you a free worksheet on. And in there is a walkthrough video plus the PDF worksheet that will show you exactly what you need to do. And like I said earlier, if you have any further questions, just leave them in a comment below this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do remember to subscribe to the channel. And on that note, guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.